One day, Jesus was teaching his friends, and someone asked him about God's rules for living. All of the stuff he talks about is pretty grown up, but can definitely be applied to our lives today. God's rules for living had already been in the Bible for a very long time. You've probably heard of some of them. One example is the Ten Commandments, which in a way can be seen as God's main rules for living. In a lot of these commandments, we can think to ourselves, I'm doing great at God's rules for living. God said, you shall not commit murder. Well, I've never murdered anyone. Cha-ching! That's a good start, obviously. But Jesus says there's a lot more to it than just being by the book. Jesus says that anyone who is angry with a brother or sister will also be subject to judgment, and in the wrong. Even feeling cross with someone, fighting, or calling them names is a big no-no in Jesus' eyes. And that is a lot harder than not killing someone. Jesus isn't saying the Ten Commandments are wrong. He's simply showing us how we can think about them much more deeply in the way we live. So here, Jesus is teaching us to make up with people we might be angry with or have fallen out with. If you feel this way with or about someone, Jesus is saying we should try to make things better. When we pray, we need to remember those people too. Even if we feel annoyed with them, or if they are annoyed with you, you might not want to do that, but it's important you do so, that the problem doesn't get worse and spiral out of control. Think about if you're driving a car and the wheel comes loose. If that happens, you stop as soon as you can so you can change the wheel right away. If you don't stop and you just keep on accelerating, the wheel's just going to get looser and looser and looser until it falls off altogether. Then the car's going to stop whether you like it or not. Jesus uses an example of his own and says, if anyone wants to take you to court, make friends with them quickly. Try to do that before you get to the court. If you don't, they might hand you over to the judge, and the judge might hand you over to a guard. Then the guard might throw you in jail. So a person should obey every command in God's law, even ones that might not seem as important as the others. We should also think about them more deeply in the way we live and look to make up with others that we might feel annoyed by before it gets any worse.